to the film, but at the same time, you know, it's kind of like, well, look at sort of where we are today in the world, and it's kind of like the movie seems important.
So
period.
Before I put on my media critique glasses, because that's kind of what I go to all movie experiences, and
he doesn't have glasses right now.
I'm renowned for it by both my friends and people that I date, that I just shit all over movies, and I take the bad. I focus on too many of the bad things and the bad themes versus the good things. So before I get to that,
you treat all movies like your J. Cole album reviews?
Yeah, pretty much. Hella cynical. But yeah, basically, I just want to shout out, like, there was hella actors in there, like hella recognizable faces, like people you thought were typecasted who really kind of broke out of their mode and like really did a really good job. Like what? Duke was that dude from that 70s show.
Eric Foreman, Topher Grace.
Yeah.
Spider. I'm just kidding.
Who else?
Spider-Man's
Kylo Ren was in there as one of the main characters.
Yeah.
Driver.
KB could not get over the fact that the dude who played Dr. Dre was Stanley Carmichael.
Yeah, really.
He's really upset about it.
It took me out of the movie. He ain't got no facial hair, bro. He wasn't wearing shades, and I was like, so you just gonna be Stokely Carmichael and then go beat Michelet's ass and then think I'm gonna just be all for the revolution? That was a weird casting choice.
One of the other undercover cops dude was a dude who's in a bunch of Adam Sandler movies, comedy movies.
You mean the fat dude with the glasses?
No, that dude is in too. But I'm talking about
Yeah.
You're talking about the Longest Yard dude. He was in there too. But I'm talking about the other dude, the third guy on their team.
See, I don't think that was Steve Buscemi.
The police chief was in Law and Order.
That was what Kenny was saying. Is that Steve Buscemi? I was like, I don't think it is. I'm actually looking it up right now.
That was Steve Buscemi.
It's going to drive me crazy.
And then who else?
Doppelganger.
Yeah.
We already touched on...
Oh, Michael Buscemi. Hello.
Oh, wow. So he did have a brother.
Whoa. Okay.
I did not know that. That's amazing. And there was another dude, like a cop. He was kind of an antagonist. I feel like he was in the...
But you'll catch a lot of, like, familiar faces in the movie.
A lot of, like, known actors.
And so, with that said, Mancini, you kind of touched on it earlier, so I'll kind of go to you first. Do you feel like the movie was divisive, or do you feel like it was kind of something to unite people? Like, and I'm asking you that from two perspectives. One being Spike's intention of how he encoded it, and two being how you received it and how you think other people might receive it. So really three perspectives.
Wait, so
do you think the movie was made to unite people, or do you think it was made to kind of further divide people in our current time?
Okay.
Like both what Spike intended it to be,
right? Both
how you interpreted it, and also how other people might interpret it.
That's a tough one. I don't know. I don't know if I see the film as being. I mean, it's going to be divisive. Period. It has been divisive. Period. But I
why do you say that?
Well, I think that there are people out there that will immediately jump to conclusions saying like, oh, doesn't it seem like the film's touching on sensitive subjects? And I'm thinking, yes, the title of the film is, it's got a weird sounding title. Like immediately,
BlacKKKlansman.
It's already giving off kind of an interesting vibe to the film. For myself, I don't think it is meant to divide. I think in a lot of ways it's meant to sort of make it clear for people about, again, the issue of racism in America, and try and kind of make it clear that it's something that goes on regardless what era you're in. It could be the 1800s, it could be today, it could be tomorrow. It doesn't matter where you are in the country. If you're in Colorado or wherever, it's happening. For myself, I had my issues of sort of the cliche of, the sort of back and forth of Ron kind of torn between, sort of the fight for the movement, but also fight for his job and sort of the righteousness of his job. And I mean, that's something that, and granted, you're also hindered by the facts. You're hindered by the true story. But I think Spike Lee did it in a way where it didn't feel boring or it didn't feel overly cliche.
That was one of the things that I liked the most about that movie was that whole dynamic between balancing both, wanting to reach your ambition and live out this dream of being a police officer with also, having pride in who you are and your own identity, which is something that we all can relate to, and especially, journalists and, our own conflicts and our own interests. So, yeah, let me ask you that, KB.
You want to just hit the sound effect now?
What do you think Spike's intention was in the overall movie?
I think it
and how did it make you feel? Do you feel like it was divisive? Do you feel like it was united? Do you feel like it didn't do anything?
I think it was a genuine, honest last try at simply just giving backstory to racial issues, kind of the elements of racism, white supremacy, the counteraction of it, black power. I feel like it was, okay, here's what this is, here's what this is. I'm going to break this down to you on an elementary level, and if you don't get it, you're just stupid, and I'm giving up on you. Like, I feel like if you literally show this to anyone, they will see themselves in it. And if they don't, this movie's perfect for people who are who say they're colorblind.
See, I don't really agree with that point either. Because even when you said it earlier about it being racism for dummies, and being able to show that to anyone, like, I feel like it was more than that because it was both satirical but also very real and postmodern.
No, I get that. There was a lot of great jewels dropped,
and people fall for retro too. Let's be honest.
Yeah, and there was a lot of I forget what they're called, but there's a term for it in film critique where there's the little moments where the two actors are talking and it's really just a whole
split screen.
No, like the moment where they're both talking about.
I know what you're talking about. I just can't remember.
When they're talking about basically electing Duke as president, and that as a black man, how could you be so naive to think that we would never happen? And he was like, I'd like to think America, is smarter than that, blah, 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 which is basically a whole commentary on exactly what happened now by basically commenting in that context, saying that it would never happen. But since it did happen, and we were in the theater where everyone laughed. So that's what I'm saying is I feel like you're saying it was so simple, but I don't think so. I feel like you're underestimating.
Well, for black people, it's pretty simple because we already know what racism is.
No, but what I'm telling you is I feel like you're underestimating how much experience you brought to the film and how much experience and knowledge you have overall in the overall field, because there were a lot of gems that people who aren't as conscious or intellectual as the three of us sitting here at the table are not going to understand. I think that's what the point of the movie was. The point of the movie was not the amount of N-words or the amount of anti-Semitic marks or the direct racism that you saw. I feel like the overall theme and message of it was really the interaction between the people and the two groups and the opposing groups, and really kind of seeing that, hey, there's more to racism than just calling each other names and protests and rallies. There's this whole culture behind it that really just kind of goes to people really wanting to belong to something.
Well, I don't think it's that to me that would work if it wasn't a movie based on, oh yeah, this is a subjugation and pretty much murdering and hatred towards black people, and then it spreads out to Jewish people and other groups. But it's predominantly, the KKK kills black people.
But
and let me finish.
But that wasn't the movie, though.
I know it wasn't the movie, but I'm saying, as a black person, my takeaway from it, I already came in with like certain things and knowing, and even when you look at the black people in the movie, I'm not going to spoil it. I was looking at something that was nostalgic with my eyes from right now. So I kind of have to not like poke at it to where I think it's less than. I have to go back. I have to put myself in that moment and realize, okay, what were the times like? How would this actually affect issues? And what was the climate of the country? Now it's much more intense and heated, so that's why I can go into the movie with a bunch of stuff.
And I think that's what I'm asking you, and that's why I am asking you, is put aside what you felt about it. What was Spike Lee's intent? Like, do you think his intent was to make you feel like you want more historical context? Do you think his intent was it to make you feel like, hey, there wasn't enough, of the real shit that happened and the real horrible atrocities that happened? Do you feel that that was the intent, or do you feel like the intent was, hey, I just want you to walk into this as a movie and put away all the shit that you're bringing to it and just enjoy it as a historical,
well, I think,
kind of nostalgic flick?
Kenny, you made the point about, or Kenneth.
It's weird. Don't call me Kenneth.
I listen to this show,
KB.
Yeah.
KB's a safe note.
Yeah. Kenneth.
Paul.
With some of my friends. Did you say Paul?
Yeah.
Okay.
Helter Skelter.
Okay, John.
Thank you. With you mentioned nostalgia. I think you kind of answered your own question there, because at one point during the film, you said this is like a time capsule.
Literally.
There were a lot of on the nose lines that, now obviously your typical, depending on where you are, which side of the aisle you're on, you're going to see that and be like, oh, well, like on the nose. But at the same time, it's making a point. It's showing you context,
Yeah, I feel like it was...
And it's not nostalgia maybe in a good way either.
I mean, nostalgia is nostalgia whether we like it or not.
Right.
So I think it's more of Spike put up a mirror, or almost like the Shakespeare said, the world is the stage and we all play a part in it, whatever. Mm-hmm. I feel like watching that movie, I saw myself in certain roles, but I understood even more the roles that other people played. So I would say it's more of he was trying to get people to see a bigger picture, because I feel like I didn't need to know the exact names of all the Klansmen. I mean, for my own personal vendetta, I would want it. But you could swap out all those different people. The dude's wife like I said, it could have been a school teacher, could have been a post office worker. It doesn't matter. But what matter are the elements that were in the movie that he was stressing. He was saying like, yo, this racism thing, and it's the same in 1977 or whenever that it is in 2017.
And I think that's why...
Where do you fit in it is where I can't kind of saw. I was like, I think that's what he was trying to get
And
across.
I think that's why, and maybe it's because, I'm Mexican and I'm not black and white, so maybe I didn't see it that way. But that's why when you're saying it's a mirror, like I didn't see that at all, because I felt like there was too much stuff that was omitted. So I didn't really see it as a mirror. I didn't really see it as historical, because I felt like there was too much satire in it, too much commentary in it, too many things omitted to where I could be like, oh,
well, what else was omitted?
That's a time capsule.
I saw it as like, oh, this is like a white exploitation film. It felt like the reverse of a black exploitation film, where like, I'm gonna get.
I felt like it was both. I felt like it was both a parody of.
I feel like he didn't try to make fun of black people in this movie.
I feel like
he
did,
put
though,
a mirror up because
there was times when they were even talking about the movies of the 70s, and there were times like you said, patting his fro. You were upset that he kept patting his fro and didn't have a pick. Like there were little things.
That's me being
that
petty, but I feel like
but
it's
no,